Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crabby Morning. I am your host today, Liam, along with
Dylan?
Kayla.
And John.
And Grace, once again.
our special guest again for this episode. All right, so today we'll be talking about anime and our introduction to anime. So I would like to start us off first. So I was at the ripe age of 4 years old, and I was watching Dragon Ball Z with my older brothers, and that on Toonami, it was one of my favorite animes ever, and to this day I love it. It holds a special place in my heart, and it was one of the biggest reasons why I got into martial arts was because of Dragon Ball Z. And it honestly, it definitely changed my life, I would say, because of just watching it that one time when I was like 4 years old. Ever since then, I'd watch like martial arts movies like every day, watch TV shows of martial arts and stuff. But the second anime I watched was Naruto, and there's martial arts in that.
Did you ever do the Naruto run?
No, I wasn't that weird. So, Dylan, what was the first two anime that you watched?
The first two?
Yeah.
Mm.
Or just the first one?
No, I think I can say what was the first two. I know for sure the first one that I ever saw was an anime that my friend recommended to me, or like a classmate recommended to me, and it was called Death Note.
Good one.
Very good one.
Mm-hmm.
I never finished it, surprisingly. I can't remember why I didn't, because I actually really, really liked it.
Yeah.
I will say I also watched, someone else suggested to me Black Butler.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting with like the demonic butler and the little kid with the eye patch.
Yeah.
Book of Circus was the best season in my opinion. I really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
And what about you, Kayla?
The very first anime that I grew up watching was like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade, Digimon.
I couldn't get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Beyblade. I watched Digimon and Pokemon, though I liked those ones more.
I really liked them. I hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
And then as time progressed, I got more into like, Naruto, I think, is a standard anime for most people to watch.
Yeah.
And like, I watched Dragon Ball Z. I like My Hero, Demon Slayer. One Piece still hasn't ended yet.
It's still going. It's at like 1,200 chapters.
I think the one anime I don't really like is, what was it? It's not called Code Geass, is it?
Yes.
I don't like that one.
What is that about?
I never watched it. I just don't like the art style. I'm one of those people.
Oh, it's kind of ugly. I kind of understand that though.
If I remember correctly, it came out in the early 90s, and it was still going into a change of the earliest, like the early 2000s and stuff. There was like a art style shift going on.
So, yeah.
John, what was that that anime that you were talking about? The one that is on Netflix currently, where it's this really, is it Baki? Is that the name of the
What?
No, there's an anime that you were talking about where there's this really muscular guy and all the people look overly muscular.
Oh,
and he just
yeah,
hated
Baki. Yep.
Baki, yeah. John was talking about how bad the art style was for that anime, or how it looked.
Oh, I've never seen it before.
Oh, yeah?
I was just looking at probably the trailer or something and thought it looked weird. However, I would like to talk about my first game.
Pokemon.
Just John. Proceed.
Pokemon.
Wow, what I was about to say, Dylan, was
Yes.
yes, I watched a lot of Pokemon as a child.
You
But
don't say.
I feel like I watched a lot of different animes, probably like you guys. You guys probably watched a lot of animes as kids. You just didn't know that they were animes. At least I didn't consider them like actually different from any other cartoons until I got
That's what
older.
I assumed.
Yeah. Like I wasn't like, oh, this is from Japan. It's anime. I was just like, cartoon. Oh my god, it's Sonic.
Oh,
And then Sonic X.
I remember watching Sonic.
So I think as I got older, then I started to see like a little bit of a difference in terms of content and expansion of story and stuff like this.
There's a different flavor out there for everybody.
There is a different flavor. I remember something specific about watching anime as a child, and it was that I used to get cartoons from the library all the time, and one time my mom bought us home a movie, and it was called My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh yeah.
And of course, it's like a very famous film. A lot of people watch it, and it's a very famous anime movie. But I think I watched it with Nora, and I hated it because I thought this art style looked like it's not like Coco Melon like the other cartoons I was watching.
Oh, okay.
It was like a deeper storyline, and it seems like to me now I feel like I would have appreciated it more as an adult than a child.
I have a question for you, John. So if there was a show that had a really, really good art style, but with a bad story, would you watch it?
I watched Pokemon, the art style wasn't that amazing either. Well, sorry. Not just saying that, like, I don't know. I think that I watched pretty much anything as a child. It's just...
If it looked appealing, you would watch it.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't watch something with a bad art style but with a really good story, or would you make exceptions?
I would make exceptions probably depending on if my friends like it or if it was cool to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So, going to the current time, what is your favorite anime or anime that you are currently watching?
Well, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, backing up to the previous question. What was the first anime that you watched?
Well, I guess it's just, kind of similar to Kayla, as, Pokemon was, like, the big thing, and so was Naruto, and so was, like, a lot of others, like Dragon Ball Z, so I guess, like, my first big interest in the anime was Pokemon, not so much Naruto, because it was, like, I think it was just overhyped during, like, my childhood years, because you would see it everywhere in the books area, in the manga section, in, schools, and it's just like, Naruto, and it's like, okay, I get it. And Pokemon wasn't that bad. I love all the cute little Pokemon, and I was kind of obsessed with it, but, like, not to the point where I'm going to get every little Pokemon item I see, unlike John, but, it's okay, and then, like...
If you didn't see that, I rolled my eyes really, 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 really hard. For all of you guys listening right now.
But... Yeah, and then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood really got me hooked to anime because it's just so good. Like, I love the art style, I love the storyline, and just everything. Even like the intro music, I also get hooked onto that. And so it started from there, and then from there it just kind of Dragon Ball Z, Black Clover, Food Wars. On accident.
I tried showing Dylan Food Wars, and he was like, "Nah."
Yeah,
so Dylan,
shut it off.
All right. So Dylan, what were your thoughts on Food Wars?
You don't know.
Thoughts and opinions on Food Wars.
The food looked good. As soon as they put it in their mouth, the show was not good.
Yeah. So.
If no one has seen Food Wars, then
look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Just look it up. That's all I have to ask you. Just look it up.
Okay, and then other than that, because I didn't get hooked onto Food Wars, but I love the intro, so I was like, ooh, this intro sounds catchy.
I will give it that. The intro's
and
not
so
bad.
I was like, okay, let me watch it for a little bit. Just kidding. I'm not gonna ever watch that again. Just to clarify.
I mean, when I start an anime, I it's in my brain that I just have to finish it. So when I watched Food Wars, I had to watch it the
Oh
end.
my gosh.
There were some parts where I was questioning why I was watching it, but my brain's like, you just have to keep watching it. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Can we just talk about all the just how there's just anime that's just so weird that's like Food Wars and
Yeah.
just like what is this?
It's a cultural difference.
And then yeah.
True. Well, that's true. That's good.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, I love
Oh,
JoJo
yeah.
Bizarre Adventures. And then I really got into My Hero Academia, and then
I'm
Learning-
all for superhero stuff.
like learning more about like the fandom, and I'm really like, no, please no, like it's really bad. Like it's kind of just bad. I don't want to it's bad.
Let's talk about the
So
fan. Sorry, Grace, are you done?
I'm not finished.
Go for it.
it. Just kidding. But then Jujutsu Kaisen, comes out, and it's like,
The movie's coming out.
and it's just sparking it up again. And yeah, I really like it. It's just weird, a little bit.
John?
I was gonna say, did you guys notice a point where anime became a little bit more cool to watch, I guess? Is it like an adult thing to you, or is it like a cultural shift in America where people started being like, oh, this is so cool, because
Yes.
I remember in high school and middle school, and it would be like, and I joined the anime club because I didn't know what it was.
Yes.
And a lot of the people in the club were people who were often made fun of, and I feel like that now it is a little bit like a staple thing where everyone's like, what's your favorite anime? Blah, 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 blah.
So my take on that is, I've been watching anime since I was 4, and when I was in elementary school, I no kid would know what I was talking about. Like I'd be like, oh, have you seen Dragon Ball Z? Have you seen Naruto? Like, what the heck are you talking about? And when I got into middle school, that's like when I started finding some people that were knowing what I was talking about. They'd be like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, and then like we'd recommend different anime. And then in high school, no one cared. I'd be like, oh, I like anime. They're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like that was very similar to my experience where like, people didn't really talk about anime in like elementary school, middle school, and not really high school for me either. It was just like people didn't care as much about it.
Yeah.
It was kind of taboo, in a way.
I feel like now people are starting to care about it mainly because it's trendy. I don't know.
Well,
they do a lot of things for trendy
Dylan
reasons.
and I were talking about something a few days ago about comic books and manga. About how manga and anime are creating more traction than comic books.
Mhm.
What did you say about?
I brought that up because of the whole I'm Not Starfire thing, which is a
Yeah.
comic book that just came out, which is apparently really bad, and apparently it's like some sort of desperate attempt for comic books to try to revitalize themselves because manga is like blowing it out of the park, and basically like comic books are suffering because of it. But the thing is, like, I think that I could read a comic book or a manga, but it has to have good story.
Yeah.
Like you have to give people a reason to read it.
And
Yes.
like I feel like most American comic books is only about Marvel or DC, and it's kind of just based around that, or just kind of like an off-brand of that, and it's like nothing
There's-
out of the box, nothing like normal
There's no.
life.
There's only like the main course. There's no like side dishes.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like it's just superheroes. That you don't get anything else.
You don't get a story about how someone fell in love, or some like how animes do it. They fight, but I mean they have like more flavor, more of it,
Yeah.
more of a backstory, and just not all let's get 'em, man, let's go do this and that and this and that, instead of like it's kind of like more of a calm sit down thing with manga, and it's like learning about the character's backstory and like learning about life around in that city,
Kayla?
Well, there's also like webtoon now,
Yes.
which is kind of like comic book type, manga type
Oh
thing.
yeah. There's one I'm reading that's it's by a Korean author. It's called Solo Leveling. Highly recommend everyone here reads it.
Mhm.
Very good.
So we have that now at least.
Yeah.
There's still not probably any.
I would
for
say-
comic books. But I'm
well,
just
Are you
saying.
talking about like hard copies or digital copies?
Digital.
Okay, well, I mean.
Well, I mean, I feel as though webtoons and all the other ones that kind of spawned up are like the gateway for the comic book industry to kind of like open a new like avenue to do different
John, what are you
stories.
doing? For those of you who cannot see this, John is like waving his arms around like an anime character or something.
My
Yeah.
ADHD stopped me from talking about what I was talking about because I was focused. So it kind of popped up, and they kind of are hopefully gonna create different stories, or just kind of not always focusing. I mean, there probably are because I know an okay amount about comics and stuff, but they probably have stories like that. But there's like just not the main focus about superheroes.
Yeah, it's just I wish America in the well, not America, obviously, but like the American, comic books, change their story direction, and it doesn't always have to be with saving people from like this main character that everybody knows, like Superman or something. Make something up that is not like always action. Why can't we get some emotion running in here? Make people attached to the series, make people want to read again. No, but we only get you're a villain, and so it's kind of like pew, 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 all the time, and not like motion.
I don't know. I feel like you're bashing comics a little more.
Because
feel like
I
there
am.
is
You're
some-
biased.
Yeah.
I
Chris.
am biased.
I know there's comics with a lot of emotional attachment, but I feel like there's a lot of manga that does the same thing.
Yes.
But,
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
But it's like, I guess it's the style, and if they make it too emotion-y, then it's not gonna. The people who are just reading it for the action are not gonna get what they wanted. So it's a pick and
I mean,
choose
keep
kind
that,
of.
but just have some variety to it.
Yeah.
I know, but some people are like, ew, look, kiss.
So
I'm here for
everyone's
buff
included,
people beating each other up.
I do want to input a little bit of middle ground here and
Yes.
say that I do kind of see what Grace is coming from, but also where John is coming from, because I do think that comic books use the same hero too many times and then just change up the storyline a little bit, but it's still ultimately the same thing. Like, how many comic books are there of Batman, Superman, Iron Man, Spider-Man? Too many. I mean, like,
Hulk or
they're good
Doom.
characters and they're
Yeah.
good
No,
to follow, but the problem is that when you keep using these characters over and over and over again, I think, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but didn't Superman's first issue come out, like, in the 40s?
Yes.
Yeah. That's about 80 years, like, of Superman comics.
Yes.
And I'm assuming they're probably still doing it. I don't know.
Yes,
as
they
much
Yeah, they're
about
still, and
comics.
it's just like the
Yeah.
same thing, but just a tiny bit of a change.
We need new characters that are interesting, that have, different values, that are humanistic. That's why anime is so popular and manga is so popular, because there's always different characters with each anime, and they're all different. Yes, maybe they'll have similar art styles and storylines sometimes, but the problem is that, people get tired of the same thing. They want to change it up, and that's what
I
makes...
just had the greatest idea. If any DC, Marvel, manga writers are listening to this, you guys need to just collaborate and like make a comic manga show movie thing, and you just need to just like create this subgenre of Western and Eastern culture and just combine it.
United.
I do have one criticism
Yes.
of manga,
Uh-huh.
anime. So, I don't know if it's just me who notices this, but have you guys noticed that a lot of, mostly like female characters that are like teenagers tend to be over sexualized.
Yes.
Yes.
And in my personal opinion, I don't know how Japan operates over there.
Yeah.
But I feel like when they do that, a lot of like child diddlers tend to flock to anime for that reason
Yeah.
a little bit.
Or
because-
just any weird guy flocks to that.
or just any weird person in general, guy,
Yeah.
girl, whatever.
Yeah.
That's like, I think it's weird how they, for example, My Hero Academia, there's one character named Momo.
Yes.
I think she's like 14, 15,
I believe she's 15.
15, and like her costume is very revealing.
Or just
Well,
anything in
It
general.
also has to do with her power,
Yeah.
but
still.
it's like a double-edged sword. It's
Yeah.
you're over sexualizing, but at the same time, her power is to create stuff, and to create stuff, she has to expose her skin to create the
Mhm.
items that she's thinking of.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's a cultural difference,
Hmm.
and we, as a group, can do nothing about it,
Mhm.
and it is what it is.
These are just our thoughts.
We're
and
we're
opinions.
just existing, and they're doing their own thing. We're doing our own thing, and you know what it is, what it is. But if you want me to create a manga or comic book, I got you. Just hit me up. But anyways,
Mhm.
trying to get that ad revenue eventually. So, what would you say? All right, so we'll do pros and cons. Pros and cons of anime. What do you like, and then what do you hate about it?
I guess I'm going first.
All right.
I hate, I guess, the over sexualization of both genders, regardless of like genders. I feel like it depends on the anime. If it's specifically for like revealing, then that's what they act.
Yeah.
That's the anime. But it's like, in reality, if you're a superhero, you would actually need to armor up to defeat. But no, it's all just like, oh, let me reveal this, let me reveal that to look more attractive. When would you want to look more attractive when you're fighting a villain? Like you would.
It's weird because it's kids.
Yeah.
So that's kind
Yeah.
of like where I'm uneasy with it because
Yeah.
they're children. So like they're above 18, I wouldn't really care by that.
Yeah.
But it's since like all under the age of like 18, it's really off-putting for
Yeah.
me sometimes. How they over-sexualize, like you said, male and
Yeah.
female characters.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the pros that they have, most of them have really good storylines, and it's really easy to like hook you in and keep you watching for days and days and months, and I feel like it's addicting almost, kind of.
So a great example for that would be One Piece. So that man, Oda, is one super genius because he mentioned stuff that was like hundreds of chapters ago. Like he'll be like, oh, this thing that you thought wasn't important, well it is now, and I mentioned it 200 chapters ago, and I'm like, dude, you're insane. And there's like 1,200 chapters out now.
Mhm.
He I don't know. He's a genius.
There is no training.
It
Yeah.
is very impressive to see like animes, especially with like really long mangas and really long animes with a lot of seasons, that they can call back to stuff that was happening in season 1, season 2.
Yeah,
Even if
that's
they were,
what he's
like,
done.
Yeah, and I do have to give him props for that, for really, really, because you can tell that there's been thought really put into these stories.
Yeah, I've fallen off watching One Piece, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's long, but man, if there's a way to just cut out like all the filler stuff, I'd probably start watching it again.
Mm-hmm.
So my pros and cons would be, got sidetracked, would be that it just, sorry, I think my brain's having a melt. Is the fact that they kind of have, like what you guys were saying, is that would be the main one. I guess we would probably all have is that the over sexualized children
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in animes. They're like, oh, I'm 14 and I work at a strip club, or I don't
Yeah.
know, as an example or something.
Yeah.
But so and then another con would probably be that losing. Sorry, I'm a little tired.
I mean, to be honest, for me, it's more of yeah, obviously the over sexualization. The only other thing I could think of was like art style sometimes. I don't really have much problems with anime, if I'm being honest with you.
I mean, if I were to like go deep into it, my cons would probably be.
I don't like annoying characters though.
Yeah.
Like a Demon Slayer with that Cheeto man.
You know?
I hated his character when he first went on screen, but now I like him though.
He's cool,
Yeah.
but it would have to be. Well, there's multiple like variables in it, but it would be certain studios taking animes I like and just crushing it. So the con would be, why don't you just stick with the same studio
The original like storyline.
and just keep it that until they decide to not do it anymore, or if like the original author is like, hey, I don't want you doing the anime anymore for me. But pros would be art style, that they just kind of don't limit themselves. They just kind of just create this crazy out of this world stuff. And I'm gonna be real with myself. I'm biased towards anime because I grew up watching that more than I did regular cartoons. But all in all, I love them both. They hold a special place dear in my heart, and I'll keep liking them.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, what do you guys think about how some animes will get adapted into live action versions, which
I don't like it.
usually are very bad?
I don't like it. They should have never even came up with the idea. It was
Like
just
Death
an
Note.
animation anime. I
It
don't
was
think it should
a-
be out of that. You know, it should
it
be
was a
just
quick
that.
cash grab.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, make it into a movie, but not a live action. You know, just it's cartoons. It's like you draw it for a reason. You don't put it into real life thinking it's gonna work. If you have like powers or whatnot, like it's not gonna like compare. The effects are not gonna compare to like what's drawn and what you see on a TV. And you know the acting and everything. Like they're gonna change up like the storyline, the plot, and it's not gonna be the exact same, and it's not gonna be as good as like the original. Nobody, like from what I know, nobody really likes how it.
This is off
Things change up.
topic. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
But I just thought of it. It just popped in my head as you were talking about that. What if they like switched? Like, say the anime studio for My Hero Academia decided to just take on Spider-Man and like make a Spider-Man anime.
That might work.
I feel
They're
like,
making a Superman anime.
Really?
They're supposed to, yeah.
I feel like Marvel would get, or DC, I don't know which one, would like really get really like jealous and envious over like how much money it would be making, and then they would have like some whole big deal about it, and I feel like that would not turn out great.
Yeah.
But I mean, they could do that. They could change it up. They could not make it so, you know, realistic, you know, and make it, you know, in a cartoon, because a lot of people like that stuff now. Everybody's into drawing now. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
we like movies, but it's like, what if you changed it up, you know? It's always Gotham City in real life kind of stuff. And I know you're good at effects, but like, just, you know, try something you've never done before. Maybe it'll go good.
All right, Dylan. Would you like to end us off with the
Wait.
question of the?
Oh,
Oh,
you just
sorry.
forgot
My
Kayla.
apologies, Kayla. My apologies.
with all this talk about anime and stuff, I figured it would be fitting to change the background to match. So,
All right, Dylan, would you like to end us off with the question of the day?
Yes, I would. The question of the day will be, why do you think anime is a hard genre to make into a live-action film? And what do you appreciate the most about anime today? Thank you guys so much. As always, like and subscribe, and have a crabby morning. Hello everyone, this is Dylan from Crabby Morning.
Joined with John.
And I just wanted to let you know that we have actually reached our first milestone, and that is going to be we have reached 500 views. Well, by the time that this is released, it's actually 650, but we had to postpone this podcast a little bit. But I wanted to say thank you guys so much, and John, do you want to thank them as well?
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you everyone, and goodbye.
You're supposed to say, have a crabby morning.
Have a crabby morning.